Today, on Be Something Wonderful, how to affirm and believe it into reality. I am your host, Tom Karen, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. I heard from one of you that said, Tom, I've been imagining my wish fulfilled. I've been affirming my desire every day and repeating these affirmations. And here's my question. I just feel like I'm not sure if I believe it. And so I repeat these things, but I know there's some spiritual teachings that said repeating affirmations is just vain repetitions. And then other spiritual teachings say that they're necessary to impress the subconscious. And I'm just wondering, which is it? Are they vain repetitions, or are they necessary to impress that state? Well, guys, today we're going to unpack that and more. Here's what I want to say. Here's what I want to start with. That they're both right. That all these teachings are right. Right? There's nothing, it's living in that paradox. There's nothing that's right or wrong or good or bad. Affirmations are powerful. But let me give you this. When they're vain repetitions, when you repeat your affirmations without that emotion of love. I pointed this yesterday. What are affirmations after all? Affirmations are affirmations of self-love. They're an expression of self-love. That's what affirmations are. And so they're vain repetitions when you're repeating it without feeling that emotion of fulfillment, without feeling that emotion of love. That's really what we're talking about here, right? And so there's nothing wrong with the repetitions. And yes, they're repetitive. This is, even the neuroscientists say that, right? That the neurons that fire together wire together. Right? So new neural pathways are created. So even in science says it, that the importance of repetition. But vain imaginings or vain repetitions is the idea that you're leaving out the most important part, self-love, right? So then it becomes vain imaginings or vain repetitions. So I really want to unpack this today and more. And here's what I really want to say is that there is this idea of impressing the subconscious. I get this, right? And we say reprogramming, and we use these words. But always I think of reprogramming as difficult and long and a process and effort. So what I really want to say to you, it's about you reaching into that greater subconscious of which you are one with and resonating with that part that's also true of you, right? That's even more true, your truer self. Right, what you really want, your wish fulfilled, your desires. Resonate with that instead of the lack of it. They're both there in the subconscious, but as you resonate more with that greater subconscious of who you really are, that's what it means by reprogramming it. You're resonating with that larger part of you. Let's unpack this today. So affirming, remember, and I think one of you wrote in that same email that you were applying for an internship. And that you were imagining it that people are congratulating you. You were feeling it real. You're not sure if you were believing it, and I want to get to belief in a second. But you were imagining it, and you were affirming that it's done. But in the same breath, in the same email, you were telling me, yeah, this internship, only 1 in 100 get in. And it's really difficult, and you have to have really good grades. And my grades are good, but I don't know if they're good enough. And all of this, so at the same time that you're what you're really doing is you're affirming the unwanted and denying the wanted. Do you hear this? It feels like you're affirming what you do want, but really what you're doing is affirming what you don't want, that it's 1 in 100, that it's very rare to get in. And you're denying what you do want, which is to get in. Do you hear what's going on here? And I just want to say, belief is a choice. Hear this loud and clear. To believe is to choose. When you choose what you want, when you choose what you want to be, do, or have in your life, in this 3D experience, that's believing. Because now you've made the choice. And that power within you, who you really are, can move you to that as long as you don't resist it and you go with it. Right? Believing is choosing. That's why Neville says it right here. You are already that which you want to be. Your refusal to believe it is the only reason you don't see it. Do you hear this? In fact, what is he saying? Your refusal to choose it is the only reason you don't see it. Hear this. This is next level Neville, right? It's your refusal to choose it. Because if you can't believe it, you're not choosing it. Do you get it? Guys, this is big, right? And then we talk about persistence, but persistence, I think you said, isn't persistence vain repetitions? Persistence is not vain repetitions. It's only vain repetitions when you leave out the emotion, when you leave out the self-love, because affirmations are about self-love, right? It's about making a choice from a place of knowing within and then aligning with that decision. That's what you're doing. That's belief. You make a choice of what you want from a place of knowing within and then aligning with that decision. That's what we're talking about. It's a choice to experience, hear this, a part of who you already are and what you already have. That's why you can believe it, because you already have all that. You're a multidimensional being experiencing a part of that fully evolved you, right? And you're experiencing it like it's the first time because you don't remember when you experienced it. Right? So beginning at the end and staying there. That's what Neville means about beginning at the end. Right? And affirmations, remember, sometimes when we do affirmations, we believe that our payoff for those affirmations are in the future. That's why it feels like vain repetitions and we don't see what we want, because it's always in the future. You feel like it's in the future. You feel like you're affirming to get something later. Whether it's 5 minutes from now or 5 years from now, right? So let's really get at this today. To think from the end, to begin at the end, to live in the end. What does that really mean? It's to choose what part of your multidimensional self you desire to experience right now. That is living in the end. That's being in the end. That's thinking from the end, right? It pulls your future into the now. Right? Now you're bending time and space. We talk about bending time and space. That's how you do it, right? Because there's only the now moment. It's all happening right now. And as we have this 3D experience of duality in this relative world of the 3D, we have time so we don't experience everything all at once. Otherwise, we wouldn't know we're experiencing it. But here you can bend time, right? According to what you want or who you want to be or what you want to have. Right? It pulls in and out. It's not to make something happen, get something, or become something out there. Right? All of that implies not believing you already have it or are it. Or in other words, all of that implies that you haven't chosen it. Because when you have chosen it, you become it. You move to it. You experience it. It's already part of you, right? It's your refusal to believe, as Neville Goddard says. Rather, what is it then? It's to experience it right now. That's what all those processes, affirmations, imagining, that's what they're all for. It's to experience it right now. Linear time's irrelevant. It's all happening right now. So that's really what processes are about. It's to pull that, what you think is future, into the now. Right? It's to experience what part of the now moment do you want to experience, because it's all happening. And that's what the process is about. What? To give you that experience of it right now, to feel it. Not to make something happen in the future, not to make something happen out there. It's to make something happen within, because when it happens within, the paradox is it happens without. Right? That's how life works. Right? So affirmations to make something happen out there implies lack and separation from your desires. Right? That's why if you use affirmations to make something happen, which oftentimes we do, right? That's an implication of lack. That's an implication of separation. And that's why many times when you affirm, you attract what you don't want, right? You write me and say, I got the opposite. That's why, right? Vain repetitions, trying to manifest something with your 3D will. That's what vain repetitions mean. Right? You're leaving out the love. You're leaving out the love of who you already are. It's all within you, right? There's nothing wrong with repetitions. We've talked about this, right? It's the vain part that you want to leave out, right? Repetition is powerful when it comes from a place of belief in knowing. Hear this. When it comes from a belief, or in other words, when it comes from a space of choice, that you chose what you want, and now you can affirm that choice. And now you can have that experience right now. That's what we're talking about. Neurons that fire together, wire together. This is Hebb's law. Donald Hebb, right? This is the idea that you create those neural pathways. That's the physical manifestation of your spiritual creation. Hear this. When you the energy that fires together wires together. So on a spiritual level, you're firing and wiring. Hear this. And then the manifestation happens in the physical world. It's a manifestation in your brain. But really it's on the spiritual level that you're firing and wiring. Right? You're a spiritual being firing and wiring with affirmations. That's what we're really talking about here, right? Be greater than your environment, your 3D conditions, linear time, and even your body. That's the teachings of Dr. Joe Dispenza. That's how you become greater than it, right? Remember, that firing and wiring happens in the spiritual realm before it happens in your brain. So you want to go there first. And how do you get there? What's the quickest path? Love, self-love, knowing it's all within you, right? That's big. So let's hit this a little bit more. Many times you are affirming what you don't want and denying what you do want, right? We talked about this. When affirmations work, this is what you say, when affirmations work, right, it is because your belief in them and not the affirmations themselves, right? They're the placebo. Right? You use affirmations as a placebo, right? And you have faith in the placebo of affirmations, right? It's the placebo effect, right? But what happens after a while you use them? And then you're finding that it becomes vain repetitions. You don't get the charge anymore. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, because you had belief in them, but then you start losing belief in them, right? The power and creative energy comes from within you, not the techniques. You are your own placebo. That's really my message, right? You are your own placebo. Don't give them away to the affirmations. It's only the power within you that makes those effective, right? Vain repetitions also imply that you're waiting for some result to happen in the future. That only creates a reality of your desires always being somewhere in the future, somewhere out of reach, somewhere just in the future that you can't quite catch up with. Wow, that's big. So, and when you pray, this is what Jesus said, and when you pray, do not use vain repetitions as the heathen do, for they think that they will be heard for their many words. So you hear this and go, oh no, Jesus says don't use vain repetitions. But what is Jesus talking about? First of all, who are the heathen? The heathen are those that pray to a God outside themselves. Pray to a power outside themselves. Pray to an idol. Right? Don't believe in that God within. Don't believe in their power. That's what vain repetitions are. When you're in vain repetitions, when you're affirming without believing that you already are that which you want to be, or you already have that which you want, you're believing in an idol or a power. You're a heathen, believing in a power outside yourself. That's what Jesus was saying here. Because on the other hand, in Isaiah, what does it say? So he left them, went away again, and prayed the third time, saying the same words. This is not in Isaiah, this is in Matthew 26:44. We'll get to Isaiah in a second. So here's Jesus again. Here's what they say of Jesus again in Matthew. So he left them, went away, and prayed the third time, saying the same words. Well, here Jesus is saying vain repetitions. Here it's showing him that he prayed and repeated the same words. Do you see this? What's the difference? The difference is this is in love. This is in the faith. This is just to affirm the faith of who we already are. It's to affirm that God within. It's to affirm that power within. That's what Jesus was doing there. Why? Because God already knows what we want. You don't have to pray to remind God. You don't have to repeat your affirmations. God, don't forget. God already knows. How do we know God already knows? Well, it even says it in Isaiah. Before they call, or in other words, before they pray, I will answer. And while they are speaking, I will hear. God already knew before you even thought of it, before you even desired it. Right? God is all there is, all-knowing, all-powerful, everywhere, and all-present. How could God not? There's nothing God wouldn't know. Right? So it's not about getting something from God by praying that way. It's to affirm your faith in that power. You have the God in you. It's to affirm that faith, that belief, that choice you made, that it's already yours. And you have the power to bring it forth in 3D reality, to call forth whatever you want to be, do, or have in 3D reality. That's big. So, affirmations, prayer repetition is powerful when it is not directed to a power, a god or idol, outside yourself. Or in other words, a heathen, as Jesus said. Right? Meaning you're not giving your power away to the affirmations. You're not giving your power away to the processes. Right? Or, scripting or whatever processes you use. You are that power. You are that placebo, right? To affirm your faith and belief. So what is it then? What are affirmations and prayer repetition? It's powerful when it is to affirm your faith and belief of your I am awareness within. That's the feeling. Faith is feeling. That's what Neville meant, right? It's to affirm your faith, or in other words, your feeling, belief in your I amness within, right? That's what we're talking about. Let the weak say I'm strong. That's what Scripture was saying, right? Let the weak say I'm strong. Why? Because you're already strong. This is pointing to the continual forgiveness of sin. No matter how many times you miss the mark, how many times you think you're weak, how many times you think you can't have what you want, how many times you think God is not listening to you, that the odds are against you, this is fate, that the crappy things happen to me. How many times? It doesn't matter how many times. God, it's continual forgiveness of sin, right? Of missing that mark. You continually get to re-identify and reassert your identification with that God within, or in other words, your ideal, or your concept, or your wish fulfilled. Whether it's a car, a house, or just being more connected with your I amness, they're all yours already, right? God already heard you, and your prayers are already answered, no matter how many times, right? Repetition magnifies your faith, right? Feeling of wish fulfilled. It magnifies your wish fulfilled. It magnifies who you already are. That's what it was saying here. So, this is interesting. This is from A Course in Miracles. If you haven't, I'll leave a link below on A Course in Miracles. I'm sure you've heard about A Course in Miracles, right? It was channeled, right? And it's channeled material. But here's what A Course in Miracles said, and it lines up perfectly with what we're talking about. The meaning of prayer is forgiveness, because those who have been forgiving have everything. This idea, remember what is forgiveness? Forgiveness is just to completely give of yourself to your wish fulfilled, or in other words, to identify with your wish, and to identify with your greatest ideal, to identify with your wish fulfilled, right? Even if you haven't, or you have some doubt, or you have some fear, you can continue. It's continual forgiveness of sin. It's continual identification with your wish fulfilled. That's what A Course in Miracles is saying. It says the prayer for forgiveness is nothing more than a request that you may be able to recognize what you already have. Wow! A Course in Miracles lining up with Neville, lining up with Scripture, lining up with everything we talk about. That it's the only meaningful prayer is forgiveness. The only meaningful prayer is to identify with your wish fulfilled, to imagine you already have it. Your imaginal act, your imaginal scene, to be that what you want to be. Because those have been forgiven have everything, because you have everything when you're identifying with everything you want and everything you are. Do you hear this, right? The prayer for forgiveness is nothing more than a request that you be able to recognize what you already have. It's a request that I higher you, that God within you, that you may recognize that you already are that you're already living that it's already you. That's so big, right? To forgive is to give completely. That's the meaning of it. That's the Latin roots of forgiveness. To give completely. To give of yourself completely, to give up to your wishes, to give to your desired reality completely, right? Prayer is a surrender. This is what Neville Goddard says. It means abandoning oneself to the feeling of wish fulfilled, to give yourself completely to the feeling of wish fulfilled. In other words, to be all in on love, to be all in on your wish fulfilled. That's what we talked about yesterday, right? Completely giving yourself to your wish fulfilled, or your highest ideal. That's how to affirm and believe it into reality. I am your host, Tom Karen, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of Higher Consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, like and share our videos. That's how we get our message out. You can follow us on Facebook at Be Something Wonderful. You can join our group, the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors on Facebook. More and more of you are joining every day. I love it. Or you can just visit our website at tomcaron.com and besomethingwonderful.com. And remember, guys, the email info@besomethingwonderful.com. Although I read the emails, I'm not responding to them. It's absolutely overflowing. It's a beautiful thing, right? It's abundance, right, of emails. But because of that abundance, I won't be responding to them. Just like on the channel, I'll respond to your comments with a thank you or direct you to the content. But I'm not responding specifically to questions. But guys, just know that I've heard you, I'm hearing you, and I'm reading it, and I will work your questions, if I haven't already, into the content, into future videos. But there's now almost 700, so I'm for sure your question has been answered, no doubt. Guys, until next time, with great love, with great light and infinite gratitude, this is Tom. See you soon.